Welcome back to movementprofessional.com. So today I'm going to go over 3 different movements to promote hip extension as well as a posterior pelvic tilt to counterbalance the effects of having a forwardly rotated pelvis. Alright, so the first one is a half kneeling position using a band. Alright, so we're going to have the monster band against the post here. You can use any railing at home. Alright, you're just basically slip knotting the band through. And then you're going to put the band right on your groin. That's exactly where your hip would be located. And you're going to move yourself forward until you feel like the band wants to pull you back. Alright, so it's basically pulling the hip into the socket. Alright, I'm going to get into this nice half kneeling position. My knee should start right under the hip. And I'm going to allow myself to lean forward or have my butt go back, which is going to go into more hip flexion. And then when I come up, instead of lunging forward, I'm just thinking about pushing the knee straight down and tucking the tailbone under. Alright, so now I have my right buttock turned on, and I have my abdominals turned on, and I'm going into this kind of slight lumbar flexion or a posterior pelvic tilt. Alright, I'm going to feel that glute working on the right, and then I'm going to come out of it by leaning forward and have my butt go back a little bit so the band goes right into the hip crease, and then I come up and I work into the resistance of the band, all right? So I can work in the resistance of the band by leaning forward, but that just makes my back arch here. So instead of doing that, push the knee straight down into the ground so it stays in line with the hip and create this posterior rotation so my tailbone tucks under. And it can be helpful to put your fingers right in your belly so you know you're not pushing your belly out. And just draw in. Use the exhale to empty all the air out of your belly. You can do about 10 on both sides. Let me show you the other side so you can get a better view. So again, right in the groin, knee right under the hip. I'm going to lean forward and feel the band pulling the hip into the socket. And then when I come up, I'm going to push the knee down through the ground, tighten the left cheek, pull my belly in, and feel a stretch in the front here and a contraction in the back. Come out of it and again drive the knee down, posterior pelvic tilt, abs are on, breathe all the air out, turns the left glute on. Alright, so you can do about 10 each side there. So the next move we're going to look at is a hip thrust using the bench. Alright, so I'm going to walk myself out until I get the bench around my thoracic spine, around a little bit lower than the shoulder blades. I'm going to use the PVC just as an example of how you can load this and also just as a level for your pelvis. But you can use a barbell as you want to get heavier with this, and you would just put it in the same place that I have the PVC. Alright, so you're going to get dropped into this little bit of a hip flexion here. And then what you're going to do is as you come up, you're leading again with the pelvis, so not trying to go up as high as possible because that's just a lumbar extension. So you drive the heels into the ground and lead with the tailbone, keeping the pelvis level, and just hang out here for a little bit. Think about pushing your heels down, and you'll feel your glutes turn on nicely, and then just come on out of it. All right, use your exhale to empty all the air out of the belly, and allow the tailbone to scoop up, and then back down. All right, if you want to make this more unilateral, you come up, and then without shifting too much, you lift one foot, and then the other. Now I'm working the standing leg, all right? So I'm already here, got both glutes on, and I just lift my one foot up, make sure I'm able to shift the weight into the other leg, and I'm still feeling the heel and still feeling the other glute firing, all right? So I can do about 5 to 10 there. It's really about the technique, much more than the load or the volume in which you're doing. So the last move we're going to look at is a single leg deadlifting type motion using the wall for support. I'm going to use a yoga block as well, just so I don't have to go down and decrease the range of motion a little bit. So I'm going to put my foot on the yoga block to start, and then I'm going to replace my foot with my hand. Kick back, find the wall, step forward, find your distance. So now the wall gives me an opportunity to pause. I can even look back at my heel, make sure that my heel is in line with the back of my head. And most people will turn their foot out when they go back, so it gives you an opportunity to internally rotate the back foot. And what I want to do is drive my heel through the wall. I can feel my right glute turn on. this leg strong. So by going into the wall, it makes me do a posterior weight shift into the heel of the front leg, and then I have to come up, get the balance. First one's always tough, and then put your foot back on the block, all right? And then we'll repeat. With control, find the block with your hand, find the wall, turn the heel out, drive the heel through, come up with control. All right, one of the common mistakes is on this transition up is that you put the foot down and you're still leaning forward, and then you're not really challenging this left leg on the way up. So make sure that you're coming through, try to stay on one leg as long as you can, and then put it down on the block. All right, so you can do about 5 to 10 each side. Really use the wall to help hone your position. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at movementprofessional.com. See you next time.